Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Breakfast with Bobby. I'm Kristina. I'm your co-host, and this is my good friend Bobby. And we are doing the show together because we decided it was going to be fun. So here's
Whether you
Bobby.
like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, have fun, damn it.
That's right.
How are you this morning, Bobby?
Well, I'm having fun, darn it.
Oh, there you go.
No, it's a great day. The sun is out, which
Mhm.
makes a huge difference in your psyche. I don't know
Mm.
about you, but boy, sun is a big deal. Um, it's gonna warm up eventually, and sitting here in, two sweaters and staying warm.
We're
The
supposed to
sun's
hit
out.
double digits today here in
Really?
beautiful winter wonderland, Wisconsin.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's really something out there. Um, I can't wait for it to melt. It's things are really restricted, and my poor trees and ooh, everything is frozen so much that the trees look like I'm not sure if they're going to come back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
See,
there's a lot of snow here.
I'm kind of on the other side of that. We got about 14 inches of snow the other day, and then it froze, like deep freeze to, below zero. And I just look out my window and everything is so white and sparkly and clean and beautiful. And I just love it. I love looking out the window at all that. And, I don't even
Great.
mind going out in it.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
yesterday was not fun to go out in, but I'm hopeful about today. Maybe I'll get out for a walk today. It's just, when the nose hairs freeze in when you walk outside, that's
Hmm.
enough. They need
Yeah.
to turn up the heat a little bit.
Somebody on social media said, "What does winter smell like?" And somebody else answered, "Frozen nose hairs."
I think it's too cold to smell, is what I think.
I don't know. I look out the window, I think it's beautiful. And I've already tried like showing people with the camera what it looks like out the window, and all they see is just light. So
Yeah.
yeah, I can't really show it to you. But um, I am one of those weirdos that loves winter. You can keep summer. I know it grows food. That's the only good thing about it. I don't like the heat. I don't like to sweat. I mean, if I'm going to sweat, I want it to be because I'm doing it on purpose, like working out or something. I don't like to just sit still and sweat. That's just gross. I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of bugs. So, and again, I know that they're important for the environment, but I don't like them.
You
And so
you
for
have a lot
me,
of things, Christina,
I know
but that's why I love you.
I love winter. I love to hike. I love to go hiking in the mountains. In fact, as this is airing, I will be hiking in the mountains. So super excited about that. And I love winter. You can always put on more layers. There's only so many you can take off.
Well, if you put on too many layers, then you're going to be not being able to walk. So
Well,
careful
there
about
is that. Yeah,
that. Yeah,
looking like
yeah,
the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man or something.
yeah. Michelin Man, right,
Michelin
right,
Man, yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
right. I love winter as well. And honestly, my birthday being in January, there's 2 days of the year that it should snow, and that's Christmas and my birthday, and then it can just go away. But
Oh,
I
see.
don't mind. It's so pretty out right now. It's just I had to run an errand Sunday, and I turned on my GPS, which occasionally may or may not. It took me by way the crow flies, and I've seen stuff I've never seen before, but it was so pretty. It was like I don't mind being kind of lost. So
Mm-hmm.
it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
so how
so
are you? What's up with you?
I'm good. I'm good. Moving into well, like I said, I'm getting ready to go to the mountains for a couple of weeks,
Where you can thrive? Is that what you're doing? You're thriving out
I'm
there?
thriving. I love the Adirondacks. I love the people in the Adirondacks. It's a beautiful, wonderful place for me to be. I just feel like I fit there. And
Isn't that funny? Wow.
yeah.
Isn't that funny? It's just when you feel that good, you can't imagine how come you don't feel like that all the time, or you just want to. So,
Hmm.
are you? I, how do you pick up and move to that area, sort of thing, when you love something so much?
If I had figured that out, I'd already be living there. Yeah, I think we're just kind of hanging out, waiting for my husband to retire before we move out there. But I go out there, 3, 4 times a year. My
Mm.
paranormal society that I belong to, the Adirondack Park Paranormal Society, is out in that area. And so I do some events with them. And when I can't be out there with them, I help with evidence review. I'm not so good on the research end of it because I don't know. I'm just not much into research, I guess. But, there are other people who will research everything to the nth degree. And being on the psychic team, I want to walk in cold. I don't want to know who I'm looking for. I
Yeah,
don't want the history of the building. I want to be able to pick up what I pick up. And, I prefer to do it that way. But yeah, it's
that's
just
pretty authentic. I like that. Then, you're not being fed information and people tend to make up some sort of opinion and just, sort of a judgment about who you are and what gifts you don't have.
right,
Do you
right.
always go to the same place in New York, in that same area?
In same area. Yeah, we go to the Saranac Lake area. It's near Lake Placid,
Mm,
not far from Canada.
mm,
Maybe like 90 minutes to Montreal or something. It's not far from Canada. So it's definitely in the upper northeast corner of New York.
okay.
And if I call it upstate New York, I have friends who are like, it's not upstate, it's northern New York. Okay.
Oh,
Well, everything outside, I think I've got this figured out. Everything outside of New York City is considered upstate New York, but there are different regions of upstate New York. We go to the northern region, so it's
I
like the
see.
northeast corner along Lake Champlain area.
Ooh,
So it's up in that area.
just those
Yeah.
names, the way they roll off your tongue just sound beautiful.
Oh, they are. You should come out there with me sometime.
I should do that.
You should do that.
Do we have to drive?
Oh, but the drive is so beautiful once you get past Cleveland.
Can I fly to Cleveland and you can pick me up there?
Sure, I can pick you up in Cleveland.
Yes, I want
We
to
could
go.
also go up through Canada.
Oh,
That's an option. We can drive through Canada.
that's
Yeah,
on my bucket list, actually,
yeah.
Canada.
It's kind of fun when I go to Canada, go through because basically I'm just cutting through into
Oh,
northern New York, and they always ask, "Well, what is your business in northern New York?" I'm a psychic, to which the immediate response has almost always been, "Here's your passport. Have a nice day."
they don't say, what am I thinking now?
No, every one of them is like, "Here's your passport. Get out of my country." They don't say get out of my country, but it's yeah.
It's good because they don't
Have,
own it, But
right. Have a nice day.
yeah, they not offered to come and see you or visit you or anything like
One expressed interest, so I handed my business card.
that. He
So
threw it on the ground, didn't he?
I have no idea what he did with it, but I haven't heard from him.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Wait
yeah,
until you do. That'll be interesting.
that will be interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
So,
So
so that kind of stuff sounds to me, and I've heard you talk many times about New York and that area, and you have such a love for it that um, it makes me feel like that's where you thrive. Not that you haven't thrived here, but that seems to be you've taken that up a notch in terms of, where you function best and how you thrive better.
right.
Uh,
And I feel
yeah.
good there, and I think that's what it is. It's the energy of the mountains, being there just feels good
Mm.
for me.
Which mountain range is that? Do you know?
That is the Adirondack Mountain Range.
Mm.
Yeah. It's the Adirondack State Park, which is 6 million square miles of state park.
Oh, wow. That's a
Yeah.
lot.
It's huge. It's
So
huge.
make
Yeah.
sure you got your GPS. Does your GPS even work up there? Do you get,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
There are
I've
towns. There are towns in the Adirondack Mountains. I mean, people own property within the state park. So,
oh,
yeah. Yeah.
I didn't know that was possible. I
Like
guess
Lake Placid is inside the state park.
oh, I see.
So
Okay.
is Saranac Lake. So are a lot of other little towns I could just rattle off. But yeah, though that is really it's an interesting thing because it is a state park, but there are towns inside of it, and there are people who own property inside of it. And so my friends out there who own property, they're like, because it's a state park, people think everything is open and available. They don't respect private property. They assume it's all open for them to explore. So she catches random people walking across her property because they think it's just that they can do
Wow.
it. Yeah.
What's the repercussions to that then? What if
Not
they
really anything unless they destroy something.
mm, mm,
Yeah.
mm.
Yeah.
So you can have multiple visitors all the time and not have any control over it.
Right. And if you don't want people on your property, you put up a fence with a lock gate.
Mm.
Yeah. Which is kind of the downfall, but
Yeah, that's kind of a
yeah.
pro and a con there.
Mhm. Yep.
Fences are meant to keep people out, obviously. That's kind of a no-brainer, but
Right. But, you know, I mean, as long as they're not hurting anything, I guess. Right.
and you're a friendly kind of person, if you don't
Mhm.
mind that. And they don't drop in for dinner or something crazy.
Right. Right. They're just cutting across your property to get to the river or whatever is on the other side of your property. So,
Mhm.
it's interesting.
It's
It
an
is
adaptation for sure.
it certainly is. It
Mhm.
certainly is. And you know, a lot of people who live in that environment are very hardy people because it's not always easy to survive there.
Yeah.
You know, there's almost everybody has a generator.
Oh,
You know.
speaking of that, I this past weekend when it snowed so much, there was a neighbor that, of course, ran out of electricity, and it was just specific to her house. And she had a generator, and as it turned out, it didn't have what it took to run the generator. But at any rate, the question that she had was, can I bring this in my house? Can I run
Mm,
the generator in my house? No, you
no.
shouldn't run the generator in your house because
No.
you'll wake up dead, kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Wake up dead. That's an interesting concept. But I guess, yeah, I mean that as a psychic medium, waking up dead makes sense to me, but for most
Well, that might be
people,
why I said that. Hmm,
yeah, maybe, who knows.
yeah.
Yeah. So where do you go when you want to feel your best? I mean, is it where you are or is it somewhere else?
Uh, the global, the big picture of it all is outside.
Okay.
Nature. I am a tree person. Interestingly enough, I have an allergy to trees, specifically pine trees and a number of others, but that's where I thrive in terms of energy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the next place, uh, again, it's outside. I love to garden. Playing in the dirt gives me, uh, it feeds my soul. I'm pretty sure it's a lot to do with the energy of the soil.
Mm-hmm.
And the miracle of watching something grow. I've been gardening. I've been in a garden since I was very little. And my father planted a garden to sustain the family of six children and him and my mom. And that's how we made it through the winter. So,
Mm-hmm.
canning tomatoes and stuff. But um, it feeds it's a grounding activity. It's also, again, the miracle of planting a seed, and that little teeny tiny seed that, and sometimes you can barely even see it. It's like as small as a poppy seed
Mm-hmm.
or smaller, and that turns into this beautiful lush plant. And it's just that's how you know God is available, just through
Okay.
that. That's how I think, because um, that's such a miracle that something great turns out of that. And you can eat something that came by way of this little teeny seed. So for me, it's watching it grow and nurturing it. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a big weeding fan, but I do it because you should. And it gets to a certain point where I am, my garden looks perfect the first few months. And then towards the end of summer, it's hot. and it's too hot to go out there. And, heat exhaustion is a real thing. And so you shouldn't stay out there very long. But I do like watching the plants and the animals and the birds.
Hmm.
And out here, I live on 5 acres, and some of it is uh, wetlands, and some is prairie. And so we have some vernal ponds, which is a water center that it is not really sustainable. It's one of those things that eventually dries up. So you have a certain amount of creatures out there that inhabit that place, but that rotate throughout the seasons.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
we have snapping turtles that come back every year and lay their eggs on the property somewhere. And sometimes I find them in places that, it's kind of dangerous. But um, I have I have been it has been necessary to put a small electrical fence around my garden, because if I didn't, we wouldn't have anything to eat.
Right.
And that's hard. It pisses me off is what it does. So
Yeah, I
uh,
get
you
that.
know,
I get that. Yeah.
you spend all that time and effort and stuff. And for several years, we've been here 20 some years. And for the first several years, I didn't have any trouble. And then we were inhabited by woodchucks, and those are quite invasive and they're
Hmm.
annoying. And I have this kind of a funny comedic story about
Okay.
all the woodchucks on a property. But anyway, we now, because it's a little 3 foot fence around the garden, I'm able to get peas and broccoli and corn. The first year that we planted corn, and I watched it for, 3 months. And the day after I was watching it, saying, tomorrow I'm going to pick that. The night before, a bunch of raccoons went into the garden and just ate everything. So that in and of itself, it's so disappointing. And they're so unscrupulous about what they do. So
Hmm.
it's an ear here and an ear there, and six stalks are laying down, and it's really, as a gardener, it's really pretty disheartening. So
Yeah.
um, that's my thrive is out in that area, and I also have an apple orchard that I go out to find peace in. And though it's kind of like their personalities sort of come alive when I'm out there. And I know that's going to sound kind of goofy, but they send off an energy,
Hmm.
and most of it is healing. And some of the trees, I have a tree. In fact, there's probably 8 apple trees out there, and they're all different. But there's one that's in the middle of it all. And when we planted that, I did voice my concern about putting them too close together. And of course, the retort was, "This will be okay." And so I wasn't going to argue. I just thought it was great that we had apple trees that we could put in. But
Right.
there's one tree that's in the center of it all and hates it there because it can't. And it's okay. It's thriving. It does produce apples and stuff, but it's kind of a grumpy tree. So
Oh,
anyway, doesn't like it there because it's got to compete.
right.
But
Right.
we have two, three, four pear trees and a bunch of apples, and
Any
it's
partridges? No, I'm sorry.
I deserve that.
I apologize. That was bad.
I'm gonna let you go on that one. And no, Johnny Appleseed's not out there either.
Well, darn it.
He should be though.
He should be. Yeah, absolutely. Um,
Um,
yeah, gardening for me, despite my last name, has never worked out well. Like I had trouble even growing Asiatic lilies, which are supposed to be very hardy plants. Yeah.
well, everything's got a place.
Mhm.
There's certain places that they don't like,
Mhm.
and perhaps giving you a little grace here, maybe you just plant it in the wrong spot. So,
I planted it in a planter.
oh,
Yeah.
I guess I would not have done that. So
Well,
that's
I
probably,
don't own the property I live on.
yeah.
And
There
if I
are,
plant anything in front of my house, they're just going to mow it down. So,
I see.
yeah,
Well,
there's
there's
no
things
point in that.
that you can plant in a pot and it'll grow. And you know what? Uh, you can actually plant broccoli in a big tub,
Yeah.
or any of those cruciferous vegetables and stuff, and you will you will yield vegetables out of that, which I found very interesting. But it's just got
Yeah.
to be in the right place. So,
Right.
thriving. The other thing that I really like watching flowers
Mm-hmm.
grow. And I don't mean just any old regular petunias, although I like the color and stuff, but there's certain places around here in the yard that I put certain things. I have since been introduced to the zinnia a couple of years ago.
Oh, those are beautiful.
They are the most incredible, satisfying, joyous little things, and they're all very different. And just because you pluck the seeds out of one head, say it's a pink one,
Mm-hmm.
and grow them next year, that doesn't mean it's going to come up pink, which I found very interesting.
That's cool.
So
It's
for
always
whatever that's
kind of a, yeah. I
just
actually
one.
don't grow a garden because of the same reason I don't have a pet. I'm not home.
Yeah.
I am traveling at least 45 weekends a year, right? So and that's not just Saturday and Sunday. That means the events are usually Saturday and Sunday. So
Sure.
I'm traveling probably Friday, sometimes Thursday, Friday, and Monday or Monday, Tuesday. So I am gone anywhere from 4 to 6 days out of the week. That's not really conducive to nurturing something at home like a garden or
Mhm.
animals or whatever. So, but I get my joy in traveling. So,
Looking out the window. Sure.
yeah, yeah. Well, my favorite place in the whole wide world, honest to God, is the driver's seat of my car.
Mm.
It's my favorite place in the whole wide world. It's my safe space. It's where I feel comfortable. It's what brings me adventure. It's what brings me um I feel like when I'm on the move, I'm thriving. And I don't know, we did the genealogy. There is no gypsy blood in me at all, but you would think otherwise because I just love to drive. That windscreen time for me is so therapeutic.
I think it's your ability to not be accountable. And I'm saying that in the kindest way. I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but you don't have anything else to do and you can let go of a lot of stuff. It's sort of a detoxing time, that drive time stuff.
Hmm.
Um, Back in the day, I worked up north, and my drive was 45 minutes. So I let go of all the stuff from work through the windshield time
Hmm.
to get to the next town where I lived. And in the country roads and stuff, there's such a healing uh, power to all of that, of
Yeah,
just looking and seeing and experiencing all of that. So
yeah.
um, you asked about thriving. So sometimes the other thing that I do pretty well, what really invigorates me sometimes, is cooking,
Okay.
gardening and cooking. But I like to garden and I like to, cook with the stuff that I've grown. So I always have a pot outside, a bigger pot of
Hmm.
herbs so I can whip outside and, cut them off, whatever. Um, by the end of summer, this wonderful little electrified garden that the rabbits sit there and look through the
The
fence,
fence hat.
wishful thinking,
Yeah.
it becomes a little weeded over, towards the end of
Hmm.
summer because it's hot and we're on vacation and it does get a little weedy, but uh, you know where you find your passion when you are doing something and forget about life and you're just so
Hmm.
focused about it.
Yeah.
Um, and life just the rest of life goes away when
Hmm.
you are in that field of passion and really enjoying yourself. So
Yeah.
um,
And that's
I
what I have in the car.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you have to feed that, and
Hmm.
good for you that you get to do that so many weeks out of the year.
I've
Um,
set my life up this way. It took me probably 20 years to get to this point to where I can live life this way,
yeah.
the way I want to.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So when you go on your 2 week vacation, are you working out there?
Of course I am.
Yeah, of course. So is that really a vacation?
Well, it is for me because I love what I do. But the other thing is because I'm self-employed, I don't get paid vacations.
True, true.
You know, the bills still have to get paid even if I go on vacation. So, yeah, I mean, I'll do a reading over the phone or over the internet while, and so it's an hour out of my day, big deal, you
Yeah.
know. I'm still enjoying my vacation because when I'm working, it's not like it's 8 hours on the computer. It's an
Hmm.
hour talking to somebody. That's easy, you know. That's not I mean, for me, it's easy because I know how to tune in, blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to explain my process right now. But, um, that if I take a client, like 4 clients a week, I can still pay my bills,
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah,
so out of a 2-week vacation, 8 clients, not that big of a deal. I mean, it's a big deal with the clients, but it's not
sure.
vacation wise a big deal.
I think it's a little bit of a lovely distraction also.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you get to socialize in a way that you wouldn't be able to socialize if you weren't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Exactly.
and and being stressed out over money, that
Mm-hmm.
particular activity will help you settle yourself down.
Right. And Saturday, I'm going to be in the parade this year out there, the Winter Carnival Parade.
You are
I
what
am. Well,
what?
because this year, Winter Carnival, that's why we go to Saranac Lake, Winter Carnival. And they will have a parade this coming Saturday. And my Adirondack Park Paranormal group has a spot in the parade. So we are going to be in the parade and we're going to be walking and just kind of showing ourselves off and, letting people know that we're there. And it's a really good thing. It'll be fun. The theme this year for Carnival is Creepy Carnival. So it's all about ghosts and cryptids and all of that. So
Are you dressing up?
we
Anything?
are going to wear our team swag. So we'll all have like some of the members have jackets with the team logo on it. I'm actually going to wear my son's shirt because he was a member.
Oh,
And
yes.
yeah, and he was big enough to where his t-shirt will fit over my winter coat because otherwise what I have is hoodies that won't fit over my winter coat. So
Sure.
I will have my winter coat on, but then I will put his t-shirt on over it. So I'll be wearing his, yeah, in honor of Logan.
Aw, that's
So
very cool.
yeah, it'll be fun.
So, no floats, just walking?
Oh, there's floats, but we aren't going to have one.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah. We are none of us, I mean, everybody who lives out there works full time. So we just wouldn't
oh,
have time to even make a float
right.
in the week before the parade. So we're just going to walk with our equipment, and we'll have our we'll have our little K2 meter running around, and
Right.
you know.
In your Ghostbusters
in our
outfits.
in our Ghostbusters outfits, yeah. But somebody I'm sure is going to be carrying a metal detector because we also have a relic seekers section of our group. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so it'll be fun.
I hope the weather is conducive.
Well, whether it is or not, we're doing it. Um,
Oh, look at
there,
you, whether it is or not.
that's right, because that's what we do out there. It was really fun though. Like one year we went, and the day before the parade, we're walking around literally in just a sweatshirt and jeans. It was
Hmm.
45 degrees. It was sunny. There was no breeze. It was beautiful. It was warm. The day of the parade, next day, the temperature literally dropped from 45 plus to 20 below. A
Oh, good Lord.
65-degree drop overnight.
Mm.
And of course, they still had the parade because that's what happens when you live in the mountains.
Yeah.
And it's always fun. It's always fun.
Oh, the camaraderie of all of that is just stimulating. That's
Right.
another one of those things that I suspect that helps you thrive,
Mm-hmm.
your tribe, so to speak.
Right. And they've been doing the parade out there for I think this is 126th or 27th year, 127 years of Winter Carnival,
My. That's a
even
lot.
through 2 pandemics, because it
Oh,
went through with the Spanish flu. three pandemics. It went through, they still kept having it even with the tuberculosis outbreak and the most recent one a few years ago. So, yeah,
Huh,
they're just not giving up on it. They
I,
adjust for it, but they don't give up on it. So,
that's very cool.
yeah.
How big is the parade?
Oh, it lasts about an hour because they have all kinds of people coming in from probably 100-mile radius. Yeah.
Well, how fun.
It is fun. It is fun. That's why we go in February.
And you're not driving a unicycle or anything crazy. You're just
No,
doing your
no, just going out
doing
there.
your ghost-o-meter.
Yep. Ghost meter.
It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Some of us might be walking around with like, doing it the EVP readers and all that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
That should be fun. Does
Yeah.
John participate in that too?
No, he's a bystander.
He waves to you on the side.
Yeah.
Cool. He's on the end picking you up, right? The
I
car
hope so.
warmed.
I hope so.
Car's all warmed up. Get in. Hurry up.
Yeah. So,
So we can miss the traffic. Now get in. Anyway,
shh.
so right. Uh, so where do you
Yeah.
stay when you're out there? You have a place that you stay, or do you rent hotel rooms or
The first few years we rented hotel rooms. Now we do Airbnb.
okay. In
Because, when you rent a hotel room, you can't cook. You can't, most hotel rooms, you can't like
yeah.
prepare your own meals. And I don't like to eat out a lot. You don't really know what you're eating. And,
Mm,
with a grain sensitivity, I would prefer just to do my own cooking
yeah.
for the most part.
You know,
So,
I'm asking you all of these pointed questions so that I can further evaluate whether or not I'm going to go to New York with you. So there's a method to my madness.
yeah, I know. We couldn't get our favorite Airbnb because someone else beat us to it, but we this time we have a cabin outside town, so
Oh, well, that
yeah,
sounds like fun.
yeah, it should be interesting.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, if you need to go shopping, I'm happy to take you shopping before you go on your trip.
Hmm. I'll have
Hmm,
to think about that.
yeah, you can never have too much.
Yeah.
Well, you can, but
Well, you can because I'm taking my Hyundai Elantra out there, so
oh, stack things on top. Huh,
We
that's
fit all kinds of stuff in there. It's all
yeah.
good. Yeah.
So, in terms of thriving, if you had to
hmm
give someone uh, a list of things to do in order to thrive, what would you advise them to do?
I don't know that I could give someone a list. Because thriving is such, it's an individual thing like almost everything else is, right? So, first of all, how do you define thriving? Thriving for me is stability, right? So, my life is stable. I have a roof over my head. I don't question that I have a roof over my head. I just know I do, right? Thriving for me is
Mm,
having an operating vehicle that's safe. Thriving for
okay.
me is having food in the house. You know, somebody else might describe thriving as having $1 million in the bank or having a big nest egg. I, I, I don't worry about that. I just know that my needs are always met and I'm psychologically and emotionally and physically healthy. To me, that's thriving. Health is thriving.
Mm,
So other people might define it differently. So I wouldn't know how to give a checklist and maybe people would look at what I just said and say, well, that's minimum. Like that's the bare bones minimum. But from where I came from, this is a lot, you know?
yeah, right.
And I don't mean a lot as in a stressful way. I mean, as in having all of my
Abundant.
basic needs met for me
Mhm,
is thriving. For other
yeah.
people, it might mean more luxury. For other people, it might mean, freedom and living life on their own terms, which I guess I would throw into mine too, because I do that. Um, I don't punch someone else's clock. I don't have somebody else telling me how much money I can make. I don't have somebody telling me when I can go to the bathroom. So
Mm,
for me, being an entrepreneur, knowing that I have a stable home, knowing that I have a husband I can trust, this is all thriving stuff for me,
Mhm.
you know? So where is someone coming from and where are they going from surviving to thriving is I guess it's such an individual thing that I would say you'd have to define it for yourself.
Yeah, I guess it's what makes you happy
Mhm.
is thriving rather than surviving.
Right.
When you're in a place of lack, you're just barely surviving.
Mhm.
Um, but the definition of thriving is flow. And actually, I looked it up before we got on the air here. So
All right. So what do we
it
got?
means it says to prosper, to be fortunate, to do particularly well in any specific area that you choose.
Right. So again,
So
very individual.
yeah, that's true.
You know,
Uh,
because prospering for some people is bottom line for other people.
true. It depends on how well you appreciate that
Mhm.
and grateful. I think
Mhm.
gratefulness is a big deal.
Oh, I think it's a huge deal. Yeah. Yeah,
Now
being
what's going
grateful for
on
what you
in
have. What was that?
society these days are is it seems like, and maybe it's just the crap that you see on the news all the time. It seems most things are pretty negative, so I tend to try not to watch all of that stuff, but there just doesn't seem to be a lot of grateful, thriving people. And if they're thriving, I'm not seeing it.
Oh,
It
I
tends,
see it all the time everywhere because it's where I look.
oh, that's a good thing. Yeah.
You know, it really is where I look. I have not watched the news, and I did the math on it because I had to go back to how old was my oldest child when I stopped watching the news, right? He was 2. So if we're going on 29 years now, I have not intentionally watched the news.
Hmm.
And, you know, some people might say I'm sticking my head in the sand, but the bottom line is if I need to know something, the information gets to me. You know, it comes to me somehow. And I'm online every day. So, you know, my Google page pops up with the headlines. I pick and choose what I'm going to read. I don't sit and watch someone else spoon feed it to me.
Right. Mm, that's huge. It, there's an old proverb about that. The Indian chief was talking to his son one day about inside of yourself you have two wolves,
Mm-hmm.
and the son said, "Well, which one survives?" And his dad said, "Well, the one that you feed."
The one that you feed,
Yeah.
absolutely.
If
Yeah.
you feed positive stuff to your brain, it's positive all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think you have to limit yourself in terms of the media and what's out there and stuff. You get eaten alive if you don't do that kind of stuff. And then you stop thriving and life becomes painful.
Right. And here's kind of my thing. I mean, we watch this stuff on the news. First of all, it's slanted because they want to make it as sensational as possible so that
Right.
people will tune in and go, "Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's horrible," you know?
Yeah.
Um, but the other part of it too is that if you're tuning into that, you're going to feel icky. You're just not going
Right.
to feel good, right? So it really is what you focus on. And, you know, if I'm watching news, I, how many of okay, how do I say this? All right, so we're watching all of these horrible things happening around the world. If you think about your life, your daily life, how many of those things are happening to the people you know in your daily life,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
I'm not saying that those things should be happening. They absolutely in my world should not be happening. People should not be killing each other. There's, you know, war is don't let's not go there. It's
Yeah.
not, you know, it's not good. But the bottom line is that it's not the reality for most of us.
Yeah.
But
That's true.
if you watch the news all the time, you're going to somehow in your mind make it your reality, right? So if
Yeah.
whatever you make your reality, that's what you're going to experience. And I'm not saying I'm not aware of what's going on in the world. I very much am, but I'm not. bombarding myself with it,
Right.
you know? If
Yeah.
I was doing that, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed in the morning.
Yeah, it becomes poisonous.
Mhm.
I don't watch a ton of TV either, and a lot of what I do daily is online.
Mhm.
So I feed myself a lot of educational stuff, and
Same.
um, I recently did a manifestation class, and I know I mentioned before that I do a lot of online training and stuff for stock trading. So
Mhm.
my days are pretty absorbed, but I choose to feed my head things that uh, that stimulate me rather than stunt my growth.
Right.
And if you focus on all the crap that's going on, that's what you're going to get, a lot more crap. It just
Right.
puts you in a bad mood, let's just face it. And
Mhm.
I think life is too darn short not to be happy. And if you continue to feed yourself stuff that doesn't make you happy, why are you doing it?
Right.
Uh,
Right. What is the payoff?
yeah,
Someone once told me many, many years ago, we're human. Everything we do has a payoff. That's part of being human. What's your payoff? What are you getting out of it? You know?
yeah,
Um, and the other thing is that what you focus on grows. So the more people who are focused on that ickiness, the bigger the ickiness gets,
right.
right? And again, I know I've mentioned before Abraham Hicks,
Hmm.
what you focus on, you get more of.
Yes.
And also I had another thought in here and it kind of like dwindled away, but it'll come back. Um, shoot, I lost it. Anyway, so I really do believe that though, like what you focus on is not only what you get, but what the people around you get. Because if I'm grumpy, I'm going to affect the people around me. And some of them are going to get grumpy and they're going to affect the people around
Yes.
them. And
Yes.
it grows like that. Well, it also grows, like they say, misery loves company.
Yes.
So does joy.
Yes. Right.
Joy loves company. And as the meme says, and joy has better parties.
Yes, she does, darn
Yes,
it. I
she
would
does.
like to be invited to Joy's parties.
Yes. So, it really is what you focus on is what you get. And I know that there are probably somebody who's going to listen to us say that and go, oh, that's BS and whatever, but try it.
That's because they're not invited to Joy's party.
I
So,
know. I know, right?
yeah,
So, you know what? If you don't believe me, try it and try it consistently for a while. Don't just try it for 5 seconds and go, it doesn't work.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Um, yeah, I just had a thought about that. Oh, a gratefulness journal, that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. At
Yeah.
least write a couple of things down every day that you're grateful for. Or at the end of the day, when you're laying in bed, and I don't want to get into the God and all of that kind of stuff, but when you say your nighttime prayers, be
Yeah.
thankful for that. Send uh, some thanks out to the universe for being in your corner today,
Hmm.
uh, for looking after you. And the universe does have your best interest in mind.
Hmm.
And again, that comes from how you think.
It
So
does.
if you don't think that the universe is with you, and you think it's against you, it's going to react that way as well. And whatever it is that you're looking for, you're going to find. You will
Oh,
find those
absolutely.
things, every single time.
Absolutely. Yep. Everything you're looking for you will find for sure.
Yeah.
I really, I feel like when we're talking about thriving, it's really about feeling good,
Yes.
you know?
Yeah. Life is too short to walk around with your sad face on all the time and
Hmm.
boo-hoo me. And there are days, you know what? There's days
Oh,
we all
yeah, we all
have.
have those days, of course.
Ugh,
Yeah.
I certainly don't want to sit here like a little Pollyanna thinking that the whole world is wonderful. And for the most part, I don't watch a lot of TV because, again, we've gone this way, 7 ways to Tuesday. It is what you get fed.
Hmm.
And some people, I'm not into politics and I don't want to hear about it and all of that kind of stuff. Yes, I vote. Yes, I do my duty, all of that kind of stuff. But I don't want to be fed that all the time.
No.
It just makes me sad and it makes me angry. And then I
Hmm.
don't have any control over my life. And
Right.
so if I control my life with things that make me happy, then I'm thriving. And as people in my life will tell you, if Bobby ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. So
Right.
whatever
Because
that's worth.
whatever energy you put out, that's what
Yeah.
affects people. And also if you whatever energy you put out, that's what you draw back to yourself,
Yes.
you
Correct.
know? So yeah, I totally get that. And I had written down here, if you're talking about going from surviving to thriving, what you're basically talking about is going from restriction to freedom.
Yes. Freedom is a big deal. Uh,
Freedom, yeah.
wow. That's everything, I think.
Freedom of thought more than anything else, you
Mm-hmm.
know? I am free to think whatever I think. I am free to feel whatever I feel. And if I am putting myself in contact with people who are restrictive in their own thinking, in their own beliefs, whether they're trying to push it onto me or not is not really relevant, but it's a
Right.
totally different energy. It's a
Yeah.
completely different energy. And everything, I mean, I talk about energy all the time. People are probably really tired of hearing it, but, and everything is energy. And so, do I want to be around this gray, restrictive, tight energy, or do I want to be around this bright, expansive energy?
Right.
I'm choosing bright and expansive every time, people, every single
Right.
time, because it feels better.
It does. Makes me happy.
Yeah,
And again, if Bobby ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. It's just life
true
in my house.
fact.
It's
Yeah. True fact. In fact, I remember one time I was texting him like, "How you doing?" She's like, "I'm not good." Bobby was like, "I'm not good. We'll talk another time." Boom, end of conversation. And I appreciated that because I didn't want to absorb that energy. However,
well,
had you been willing to talk about it, I would have been willing to listen because I've learned how to listen without absorbing.
that's a big deal. That's a
Yeah.
huge deal. And I think it would be a great lesson. Sometime we'll have to do a show or something about protecting your energy, about how
Mm-hmm.
you do that. But I purposely don't get involved in many TV shows, many the news is tragic, all that kind of stuff. I just the trees make me happy.
Yeah.
life is too short not to be happy.
Yeah.
Ugh, gosh.
Yeah.
I have no control over all of that stuff. And I know somebody would say, you can make a difference. Yes, I can make a difference, but I don't have it. I don't want to. I don't want to make that kind of a difference because, first of all, I have to fight through all of those thousands of people that make me sad in the first place. So I'm not doing it.
Well, my feeling is we can make a difference every day in our own lives,
To
right?
make a difference to individual people. Yes,
Absolutely, which goes on to the next individual person, which goes on to the next individual. And that's actually how we can make a difference anyway,
yes.
right? We
Hmm.
make the difference by being who we are. We make the difference by loving people where they are. And just because I love someone where they are doesn't mean they have to be in my vicinity because some people are better loved from a distance.
Yeah,
And that's okay. I can still send love to people I don't necessarily want to be interacting with right now just because we're in two very different spaces,
yeah,
but I can still send them love,
yes.
I can still send
And
them loving thoughts
yeah, and compassion.
and
And
compassion. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. We make the difference where we are.
right.
Because let's face it, very few of us are going to make a difference. If you or I walk into one of these military conflicts and just go, "All right, boys, enough," really,
Right,
that isn't going to change anything. Probably get one
exactly.
of us shot, you
Right.
know. But
That
that
whole,
isn't that isn't where we can make a difference. We make a difference at home. We make a difference in our own surrounding. And
yeah.
that's true of everybody. That's where we make our difference. And does that echo out into the community? Absolutely.
It's a little
It's a
ripple of, yes, a
right.
vibration that spreads. You'd be
Mhm.
surprised what kind of effect you have on people. I think we don't know how much of an effect we have on people
Oh, I think you're right.
in small ways. You know what? I have to tell you this funny story. So I was in a small town a little bit north of this and happened to stop in a Walgreens and I was going to I don't know, I was getting something from behind the counter, so I had to wait in line at the pharmacist area, and I walked in and there were like 7 people in line, and I was, oh my God, this is horrible. And up comes, a couple of people walk in right in back of me. And there's a guy holding on a paper, and I can see that he looks kind of distressed, and he just kind of rolled his eyes. He goes, "Is this it?" And I said, "Yeah, unfortunately it is." And I can see he's got this paper, and I said, "Is that your prescription?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "Well, if I were you, I'd probably wait for a while." He said, "No, I can't." Anyway, we get to talking, and he gets up to the counter, and they don't even have the medication that he wanted. And
Oh.
even more than not having the medication, the whole electronic system was shut down. And so he starts talking to me about pain and all of this. And he had just gotten out of surgery and he just got released and all this kind of stuff. And of course, I started talking about what I do with Beamer and all that kind of stuff. I
Hmm.
invite him to the house. I don't know this guy from anybody. And of course, I come into the house and I get this look like I called ahead and I said, I'm bringing somebody home, just going to use our Beamer. And he's in a lot of pain kind of thing. But it became a joke in my house now that, first of all, you're bringing strange men home now, Bobby. Are you saved?
As you were talking about that, your husband walked past the glass doors.
Yeah, he's Bob. You bringing strange guys home now?
Yeah.
He needed it, Rick. He needed it. I'm sorry. He needed it. That's what I do. Sorry.
Yeah.
Making people happy. I couldn't stand to look at the poor guy anymore. It was just really something. He was
Yeah.
antsing around and they didn't have his pain medication. And then the electronic system to get it, it would have been several hours. So at least he got a session or three, by the time he left, and he could go back and get his medication if he needed it.
Good. That's
But
awesome.
yes, I
Yeah.
and the last time yesterday when I was picking up my medication from the pharmacy again, another line, and I thought, please don't. I'm not taking anybody home today, really. Nobody, nobody's coming home with me.
But I think it's wonderful that when you feel like it's the right thing to do, that you act on it.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. There was a point in time when I'm thinking, you don't know this guy about anything, and so I did feel compelled to call and say I'm bringing someone home in case something happened. But yeah, and I have another friend I told as well that this is what I did, and he just said, "Oh, well, you're brave." He said, "But I'm glad that you told me. In case something happens, you can call, whatever. But I
Hmm.
do set myself up for some sort of success. But I'm so compassionate about that. I just can't see people suffering or animals or anything. So
Yeah,
you got to
I
follow
get
your
that.
heart sometimes. That's how you make that's how you make a difference. Yeah.
You follow
Um,
your heart.
yeah.
Absolutely. And did you change the whole world by doing that? No, but you know what? You changed that guy's world for a day.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
sometimes I feel like we need to let ourselves know that that's enough.
Right.
That's enough. You had a positive effect on somebody for one day, and that was enough.
Hmm.
And you could have just went, "Oh, well, I'm sorry to hear that," and left, knowing that the guy was in pain. And but your heart talked to you, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Because you would have been, I know you, and you would have been thinking about that guy for weeks.
I would have. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could have made a difference in this poor guy. He walked out of here and he was, fairly pain-free and happy, and his spirit was different, and it was kind of amazing. So, and I still have his phone number. We have texted back and forth, and he's doing better and stuff. So, yeah, it was. I just couldn't let that go.
Yeah.
And that both of my friends said to me, "I know you, and can't watch somebody suffer, so you did
No.
the right thing for yourself." But again, I protected myself in terms of safety issues because that could have gone sideways easily.
Hmm.
You hear it every day.
Yeah.
But the other thing I said to myself, well, you do have a black belt in Taekwondo. That's a good thing.
Yeah,
Um,
that's an advantage you have that I don't, because I haven't done that. So, and congratulations. That's huge.
it was huge,
That's
truthfully. That
huge.
was huge.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. But And I've since stopped, but it doesn't mean that I forgot everything I know.
Right.
And so that was a little saving grace there. And there are certain things that even, somebody comes up behind you or whatever, you can't, it's not 100%. It's just sort of a confidence builder to know that you have something in your pocket if you happen to get to the right place to be able to use it.
Right.
So for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
But yes, I have been accused of bringing guys home. Strange man. So
Strange man. I'm just not going to comment on that on my end.
thank
So,
you. Thank
um,
you. I have taken enough slack over that.
I'm sure. And there he goes again.
There he goes again.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I just really hope that, if people need help thriving, we have some affiliate links on our YouTube channel. You know, I'm a spiritual advisor and a psychic, and I can help people, find some peace that way. And um, you're a Reiki master, you have these great tools at your disposal. We have our affiliate links on the channel. And so I hope that if someone, finds themselves needing some help in one of those areas, that you can reach out to us, you know. And I also want to say, subscribe to our channel. We have some really good information that we share. Hit that bell, get notifications for when one of our new episodes drop, which by the way is Mondays at 7 a.m. Central Time. That is when we release our new episodes, on Mondays at 7 a.m. Central. So, tell your friends too, because we're goofy, we're silly, we're fun, and sometimes we're serious and share some really amazing information.
Yeah, I think there's in this day and age, there's so much technology out there and so many helpful things and energy medicine and whatnot. If you need help, there's always a way. If we don't know, and honestly, I kiddingly say, if we don't know things, we'll just make it up. But sometimes, if you don't, if
If
you
I
don't,
don't know, I know people who do.
right, that's it. We have
Yeah,
we have people.
yeah.
And even more than that, if you have a topic that you want to hear about, and we're happy to do it, just let us know what that is, and
Mhm.
we'll certainly discuss it and put something together.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Feel free to comment below. We really want to know, first of all, if anybody's listening. I'll be honest. We just want to know if somebody's
Yeah,
listening.
right. Well, we just
So we're just not sitting here entertaining ourselves, which is fine too, because it makes both of us happy. But,
yeah,
um, you know,
pretty easy.
yeah, well, be careful
Well,
with
we're
that word.
simple. We're simple. Let's just say simple.
Anyway, yeah, comment below. We'd like to know what your thoughts are. And, if there's anything we can do to improve. This is our fourth episode.
Yes,
And, we kind of jumped into this after about a year of discussing it. We finally jumped into it, but we are also still learning. So if there's something that you want to hear, something, a way that we could make it better, let us know. Let us know. We're open to suggestions.
we're here to help for the most part, and then of course we're here to have fun. And
Yes,
life is too short not to have fun. And if you're not having
absolutely.
fun, let's revisit that and do something different. So you do
Yeah.
have fun.
Yeah. There's, after my last near-death experience, which can actually be another topic of a show, but after my last one, I just decided if it doesn't bring me joy, I'm not doing it. And this brings me joy.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
again, it's all about being invited to joy because
mhm.
joy is where the fun is.
It
And
really is.
yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And
and here we
on that note,
yeah, let's not be so serious.
yeah, um, I am off to have some fun. So I hope that you are too.
Well, I have fun every day,
Yeah.
even the littlest things bring me joy. And tonight I'm going to be making chicken breast sandwiches because or salads because I need to get back on the train of health and wellness. The
Mhm.
Christmas season and the holidays were really overabundant for me, and we had a lot of a lot of things here. So
Right.
cooking, and like I mentioned to you, cooking makes me happy. So those are the things that I've been doing. But along
Right.
with cooking making me happy, you got to make really good stuff and you got to taste it first. Sorry, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you don't know. You
Yeah.
can't be feeding people
Got to
a lot of
make sure that comfort food is actually comforting.
right.
Yep. I know. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening, for giving us a chance to do something that we have been wanting to do. And we'll see y'all again next time.
Thank you so much for indulging us. Have a great,
Yes,
do something nice for yourself. Take care.
absolutely. All right. Bye bye.
Bye bye.